Hi, this is Mark. This is an update. This is Thursday, the 5th of February. Now, on Sunday, I showed you how even though the dollar index had broken last week, and lots of folks were then thinking the dollar's broken, we're going south, I showed you how this was another pin bar reversal candle. It's actually more noticeable even on the monthly. So on the monthly, we've been stuck in a range. The sellers tried to force the dollar down. And what happened by the end of the week, it promptly returned back in. So what I was saying on Sunday is I suspected that the dollar was going to drift higher this week. And I would expect if it gets to 98 today or tomorrow, I would expect it to struggle there. And at that point, I might start to think of shorting the dollar. Gold is holding at the moment. Silver is dropping. Crypto is falling off a cliff. Some of the potential setups I do see at the moment, the pound I had the other day, I was showing you down here. If the pound gets down here today, that would be a 150 pip move when the average is 80. So I still would leave that in. That's a 70 pip stop for a potential 380 pip gain. Aussie dollar is very similar, but seems to be further away at the moment. So the likelihood of getting down there is not as great. Same for the NZD. And then other ones of interest today. Now, you wouldn't take all of these at once. I'm just showing you for technical setup. Euro pound. Now, I am not into counter trend trading, but those of you who've taken this would have had a good gain on the euro pound. And I would certainly be thinking of taking some profit off now because we're exhausting the daily move. We've done 53 pips today and the average is 31. I have an order to short in here for multiple reasons. So we have the 61.8 fib, the trend line, the 55 EMA coming down, the whole number, and a good risk-reward potential. Oh, it's looking scary in a minute. 22 pips for a potential 60 or 80. And I would be mindful at this point here to move the stop and perhaps take some off. So that's one of the interesting ones. The other two, I want you to kind of work out here which is the better of the two. The New Zealand dollar Swissy. What I've done with this one as well, I've put split the trade in half. And what you're supposed to do, I haven't had time, but what you would do is, if let's say you're going to risk $100 on a trade, you would risk 50 on this trade, and that's with only an 18 pip stop. And then you would risk 50 on this one with a 25 pip stop. And the lot sizes will be different. The reason why I've split it is that my concern is if price comes down into here, spikes into here, and then takes me out, because the more conservative area for the stop is down here below the whole number. But I do have multiple reasons to take this trade. We're in a clear up channel, 55 EMA, 78.6 fib below to tuck the stop behind. And on either of those, well, this one's risking 17.18 for 60, possibly 85. And the other one is risking 25 for 75. So 1 to 3, 1 to 4 risk reward ratio is a good setup. Now, I put this on the Aussie dollar Swissy as well, but the Aussie dollar Swissy, you will notice, it's a very similar pattern, but this requires a 50 pip stop for a 101 gain. So clearly, the NZD Swissy is the better bet. Okay, let's see what happens today. It looks like it could be a bloodbath in the stock market, and then again, it could all rebound. Let's see what happens next.
On the euro pound, I got taken out the first time and then caught the trade the second time. I have just taken most of it off on my live account, but if you recall, I was looking for a pullback up here, and my philosophy is until or unless the 78.6 fib breaks, we are not changing direction. So my bias was still long-term short, had the trend line, had the 55 EMA, the 78.6 fib in a clear downtrend. I had a risk reward on the second one, I think it was about 20 pips, for a potential 88, but mindful of 62 here, because this is where it's bounced repeatedly. Now, it's Friday afternoon, and in an hour's time, there is some biggish American news, which you wouldn't think it would affect the euro pound because it would be the same, but it can have a negative effect. And it's hovering around the whole number at the moment. So at the very least, I've moved the stop to entry. And so on my live account, I have taken, I think, 80% of this off and moved the stop on 4 hour. And that's what I tend to do is if you're in this scenario now, I think down here I've got the stop on the balance on the live account, locking in an extra 10 pips. Now, the other two that I shared with you specifically was the New Zealand Swissy which I preferred over the Aussie Swissy because we had more reasons to support the theory. I also showed earlier in the video why I have split the trade. At the moment, I've left the stop where they are here on the demo account just to show you what I've been doing. Obviously now the priority always is to get the stop to entry plus a few pips to protect the trade in case of anything sudden, and with Trump something sudden could happen at any minute. And once again today this has done 54 pips and the average is 37, and even the last few days the average is 45. It's probably going to run out of steam now, and so I'm going to go down to the 4 hour. I'm going to take the profit on most of them. I'll close one out for ease of management, and I'm going to move the stop here on the second to lock some profit in and see if we can get a run up after this American news. So I'll do that in a second. The other one, and obviously you don't take them all at the same time. This was purely from an educational point of view. Didn't look quite as interesting. We did have multiple reasons, but the potential range of it was 100. The stop, realistically, to be conservative, needed to be down here. So I just felt there were more reasons and a better risk-reward ratio on the New Zealand Swissy. But for next week, these would both look to be interesting trades. And again, it's now done 73, more than it's done on any other day in the last month. So once again, it's probably running out of steam. And if on this one we've risked 20 to make 65, so 1 to 3 risk-reward ratio, I'm going to just close that. And if you want to take partial profit, somebody was asking me again, right click, make sure one-click trading is not on, go to close. And if you only wanted to close 0.8 of this, so we say going to close 80% of the trade and click close, and now you've just got the balance left open. Definitely always get the stop to entry as the first part of the plan. But as the weekend's here, it's done the daily range, fizzled out, and I don't want to be here any longer today. I am going to take my profit and run. So I've shown you here pre-planning, the managing of the trades along the way, which one to choose in when there's a lot come at once. And actually there was another one I shared with you thinking about it was the pound USD. And again, you wouldn't take them all at once. Missed my entry by a pip or two today and has now gone, it missed it yesterday by a 20, I think. And today it's set off again and it's done 70 or 80 pips, 90 pips. So the best of the week, and I missed it by a handful, I think. Okay, I hope that helps. Have a great weekend. Catch you later.